When I was first getting into guns, Taurus had an awful reputation. They were seen as absolutely garbage tier, not worth buying, completely unreliable. However, in the last few years, they've been able to recover from some of that reputation, and I was hearing well-informed people say that their Taurus guns were good. And I was hearing them say that they had good experiences, that they had fixed their customer service, fixed their quality control, and that they were to a serviceable level. I wanted to test that for myself. So today we're going to answer the question, does Taurus still suck? I thought the best way to answer that question would be with a 1,000 round, one-day review of the Taurus G3C. Now this is the T.O.R.O model, so it has a red dot, and around the same time that I was looking at reviewing this gun, Siley offered to send me a red dot. So I went with their cheapest one, the CT2, and previously for another review, Warriorland had sent me one of their flashlights. So I modified the holster I had to fit this G3C, and we were good to go. Now, we shot the 1,000 rounds on a previous day, and it was so windy that the audio was really crappy. It was hard to hear what we were saying. We're out here today. The Corn, Nebraska hurricane is just hitting. So after a long day of shooting with a cold headwind and really bad audio, I thought we'd do the debrief today, and we're going to answer primarily 4 questions. Number 1, does Taurus still suck? We're talking reliability, quality control, customer service. Number 2, is it a good gun for the money? Number 3, would I carry this gun? And number 4, would I recommend this Taurus gun to a friend who is looking for a first or only gun? So number 1, beginning where it really matters and with the question of this video, does Taurus still suck? Number 1, beginning with customer service. I know, not a good start. I got the Siley optic in and went to remove the plate that was on here to get the optic put on. And they had over-torqued the screws so hard that the tip of the bit came off inside of the screw and I couldn't get it off. So I called them and they got back to me right away, which was good. I didn't say I was making a video or anything like that. So I sent it back, they repaired it, and then they sent it back to me. Now, this doesn't shine brightly for the QC department, but just know that if there is a QC issue, they will take care of you and they will fix it. And that's pretty good to know, especially when you're buying something from a more budget-oriented brand. Now, talking about reliability, we had 3 malfunctions. Do you remember what they were?
We had 2 light strikes on the primers, and we had 1 stovepipe. All of those, I believe, were while we were firing just standard range FMJ ammo.
I had a bit of an oversight while I was out there on the range shooting. I forgot to list the ammunitions that we used in this evaluation. So we shot a little bit more on that second day when we went out to record the debrief, and that means in total we fired 1,099 rounds. Of those 1,099 rounds, 700 of them were Herder's 115 grain, 200 were Winchester White Box 115 grain, 50 were Magtech brass, 50 were Magtech steel, 24 were Sig V crowns, those were our hollow points, and then 75 were Blazer brass 124 grains. All 3 malfunctions were with the Herder's or the Winchester White Box, and if you're unaware, these are actually the same product. Winchester makes the ammunition for Herder's, and it's just the Cabela's brand. This product, while being very low quality and where these types of malfunctions are pretty common, was still the most common round that we used in this evaluation, and that was an oversight on my part. I really should have used a higher quality ammunition, especially when we're trying to evaluate the reliability of a pistol, not the reliability of an ammunition. So, that being said, I personally believe that all of the malfunctions that we experienced were a result of the ammunition used, not the handgun itself. We had 2 light strikes, one with the Herder's and one with the Winchester, and then the failure to feed, or the failure to eject rather, the round was stuck in the chamber front and back. So I think that that was due to an underpowered round, not an issue with the extractor or the gun itself. Now, if you are interested in seeing a part 2 of this video where I use a higher quality ammunition like Blazer brass or something else, feel free to leave a comment down below and I will go ahead and do that if I get enough feedback that that's something people would like to see.
Off camera, I had a pretty obvious light strike. I'm gonna load it and see if I can shoot it again and we'll see what happens. And that time it worked. Wait, we just had a light strike. We can't find the round. I didn't know it was a light strike. I thought it was empty. So, generally speaking, I would say that the gun was probably reliable. The ammo was probably not. So does Taurus still suck? I think, at least with this one example, probably not, but check some others. So, number 2, value. For $230, what are you getting? You are getting a probably reliable, optics-ready handgun, great customer service. The only real issue I had with this gun, assuming that the reliability was actually the ammo, was the trigger? Yeah?
Yeah. Trigger leaves a little bit to be desired.
So that's not a very good group. I don't think that that's necessarily indicative of the mechanical accuracy of the pistol, like how accurate the barrel is and that kind of thing. I think the larger thing going on here is that the very heavy trigger, combined with our day of shooting and, well, right now we're just struggling to keep it on target, I think that's what's making this pistol go, I think, what would be subpar compared to other handguns. Yeah, the trigger on this is not great. It's heavy, and for me personally, it was a trigger reach issue. I have pretty long fingers, and after shooting that much ammo, my finger was starting to get crampy.
With this video, John, we were trying to look and see what can you get for a concealable carry gun that is reliable for the least amount of money. And maybe something with some more modern amenities such as a flashlight and an optic. So at the end of the day, how much did you spend on the gun and the holster and all the accessories?
Right, so I'm assuming that they wouldn't have sent me the optic and the flashlight. I was sent those. If they would not have sent me those, I think, including the 3 extra magazines I bought, I think it was all around under $600. So that is gun, flashlight, holster. The holster and flashlight came together since this flashlight wouldn't be compatible with a lot of other things. Optic, magazines. All of that was under $600. Which is pretty good considering all of the things you're going to get. The other question I had was like, well, if you spend a little bit more, what can you get? I thought of a Canic. Beretta APX A1 is what I carry. After we shot that, they came out with the Ruger and Magpul RMX. All of those I think would be probably better guns than this, and really not that much more expensive, anywhere from $20 to $100. But if you are so strapped for cash that will present an issue, maybe this would be good. Or maybe what I would recommend is get one of those, skip out on the optic for now, and get it later at some point down the road. Now, one problem if you go with this particular flashlight is that you're not going to get a lot of holster support. There's only the ones made by Warriorland. However, I was looking, and a used TLR7 is like $100. So if you're okay with spending a little bit extra, you can get a used Streamlight TLR7. That's what your gun has on it, right?
Yep. I got a TLR7A here on this FN.
Really good flashlight, and everybody makes holsters for the TLR7. It's probably one of the most popular flashlights, especially for carry guns.
Absolutely. Another thing to touch on in the value department is, aside from face value, aside from the features you're getting on the gun itself, the aftermarket support. So the Taurus G3C or G3 and G2 series are both extremely popular in America for a lot of first-time handgun buyers because it is affordable. And so because it's so popular, there are a million holsters out there available on the market, whether you're looking for a concealment holster or a ranged holster. And then again, touching on other competitor guns within that range, yeah, you've got the new Springfield XD Mod 3. That one comes in around $300, I believe. Not even considering the used market, you can find a lot of used Glocks, a lot of used M&Ps somewhere on there under the $400 range as well.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add, he was talking about aftermarket support. I bought these little magazine sleeves that go on the bottom of this so that this gun can use these 17-round magazines. And a 3-pack was $15 or something like that. I just bought them on Amazon, and I've really liked those, just getting a little extra purchase on the pistol. So, value department, I think this gun does have a lot of value. The gun is still going to be reliable, but if you spend a little bit more, I think you'll get what is overall a better handgun. And if you spend a little bit more on the accessories too, you will be able to get a better optic, a better flashlight, a better holster, all of those things. But are you getting a reliable handgun for the money? It seems like yes, you are. Now, question number 3, would I carry this gun? So ergonomically, there is a lot I like about this. The grip feels pretty comfortable, and it would be easier to carry than the gun I carry now because this is a lot smaller and the gun I carry now is huge. So the grip feels nice. The trigger reach is short for me. I don't think I would notice just in like a normal training day for me shooting this that my finger was starting to get that sore, but we had already shot a bunch that day and we were going a little more vigorously and a little faster than I would normally go. The reason I'm not going to carry this is because I have a big gun I carry. I like my Beretta APX A1, and I have a little gun I carry. I like my Smith & Wesson Model 36J frame. I'm not really in need of a medium-sized gun right now, but would I trust my life to this? I think I would once I made sure it was reliable with my carry ammo Federal HSTs. Would you carry this gun?
Yeah, I really have no qualms with the gun from a reliability standpoint and from me looking at it as a weapon that I could protect my life with. I would probably trust my life with a Taurus G3C. Again, I would want to test it with my carry ammo. I would want to train more with it. Since our 1,000 round burn down was more just we're trying to get through 1,000 rounds, hopefully not run into malfunctions. We're not really shooting with the intention to become good at shooting that gun.
I would also add that the weather that day was absolutely miserable. Shoot in inclement weather. You will learn a lot about your gear and a lot about your skills if you shoot on days like today and days like the one we were shooting in before. One of the best range days we ever had, we went out to shoot at night and it started like a freezing rain on top of us and all of our gear was wet.
I was getting a ton of like slush in my pistol optic. You learn a lot from shooting in not ideal scenarios.
Yeah.
Embrace the suck.
Shoot in bad weather, embrace the suck. Number 4, would I recommend a Taurus pistol, specifically this Taurus pistol, to somebody who is looking for a first gun or an only gun? Yes, again, with testing on better ammo, and for a first or only gun, this gun is both concealable and shootable. I like guns that are optics ready for newer shooters. I take newer shooters out a lot, and I've found that they are much better at hitting the target with an optic ready pistol, with an optic on a pistol. One other thing I'd like to note, a lot of newer shooters are not going to feel comfortable about having a gun pointed at their gonads every day, especially if there is not a manual safety. I would never use the manual safety on this gun if I was carrying it. The gun I carry now doesn't have a manual safety. The gun you carry doesn't have a manual safety. So I don't think you need a manual safety on a striker-fired gun, but this gun does have it, and for a lot of newer shooters, that's a necessity. That's something that they think they need, and it's something that makes them feel more safe. And as long as they're ready to take the safety off, I think that's fine.
I don't really have much to add. I mean, I've worked a job selling guns before, and we have a lot of people who would come in looking specifically for Taurus pistols because they're inexpensive. So I've sold a ton of Taurus G3Cs in my time during gun sales. And really, I've never had anything bad to say about them. Usually what I tell people is it's a good, reliable handgun and will go bang every time you need it to. It just leaves a little bit to be desired in terms of the bells and whistles department.
All right, so depending on how this video does and the comments I get, I would really like to do either a part 2. I wouldn't like to do a part 2 with this pistol, but I would if I got enough comments asking for it with Blazer Brass or another higher quality ammo, or to test a different gun. Specifically, I'd be interested in another Taurus gun. I'm interested in Taurus revolvers. I think 38 Special is one of the most fun guns to shoot, or that new RXM. Now, all of that being said, I'm 8mm Mauser Man, and I fired a lot of rounds through this gun, but I lived on. I missed. Keep the change, you filthy animal.